Despite the fact that most 18th and 19th century philosophers and intellectuals often considered myth to be a part of early human cultural development and therefore without any real meaning, ever-increasing attraction towards mythology, which in turn caused more studies to be done in this field, soon revealed the fact that they have symbolic and metaphorical values. This move was heavily influenced by rooting of psychoanalysis and works of Carl Jung and later Mircea Eliade. Mircea Eliade believed that the historical study of development of myths of different periods or societies give us the knowledge about the culture, tradition, and religious life of that period or society. As an expression of the sacred in words, myths are symbolic, and symbols are the language of myth. In the movie Northman, symbols such as wolf, dog, as well as rituals, all of them refer to the most important themes of life, and this is very interesting for us. Eliade noted that in traditional societies, myths represent the absolute truth about primordial time. For the people of this movie, myth represents the absolute truth, and therefore they sacrifice their lives for it. According to the myth, this was the time when the sacred first appeared, establishing the world's structure. Myths claim to describe the primordial events that made the society and the natural world be that which they are. Eliade argues that all myths are, in that sense, origin myth. Myth then is always an account of creation. In Northman, every action of Amleth is aimed at finding the origin. Furthermore, many traditional societies believe that the power of a thing lies in its origin. If origin is equivalent to power, then it is the first manifestation of a thing that is significant and valid. A thing's reality and values therefore lies only in its first appearance. In this movie, the origin of everything is violence. Therefore, the violence is the core of all actions of the characters. According to Eliade's theory, only the sacred has value. Only a thing's first appearance has value, and therefore only the sacred's first appearance has value. Myth describes the sacred's first appearance. Therefore, the mythical age is a sacred time, the only time of value. Later he says, primitive man was interested only in the beginnings. To him, it mattered little what had happened to himself or to others like him in more or less distant times. Eliade postulated this as the reason for the nostalgia for origins that appears in many religions, the desire to return to a primordial paradise. What Eliade argues is parallel to what Amleth and other characters did, sacrificing themselves or others. He argues that traditional man attributes no value to the linear march of historical events. Only the events of mythical age have value. To give his own life value, traditional man performs myth and rituals, because the sacred's essence lies only in the mythical age, only in the sacred's first appearance. Any later appearance is actually the first appearance. By recounting or reenacting mythical events, myth and ritual reactualize those events. Again, for Amleth, the relation between the sacred and myth is the most powerful motive. Thus, when we watch the Northman, maybe one of the most notable points in the movie is the symbols and elements which not only shape the myth that is told in this story, but also is their familiarity to people from different cultures. Elements and symbols like killing brother, killing son, saving mother, violence and revenge, returning for revenge, and etc. These are all elements that can be traced in stories which are told throughout different parts of the world. In the movie, Amleth is the connecting point of all these symbols. His dad, who is a hero to him, has been killed with conspiracy of his mother and by the hands of his uncle. He was forced to go to sea and then come back to get revenge, and at the end faced a tragic destiny. Now the question that needs to be answered is how this similar theme and elements should be understood. The movie is well made and has all the elements of a great movie, such as great actors and a professional director. But how does the audience of a completely different culture than Nordic culture find this myth and its elements to be both familiar and interesting? There is an old answer which is not considered to be valid anymore. It was believed that there is an original myth that was born in a culture and later have been spread in the world with people migrating and traveling. But with more anthropological studies and with the fact that even distant and non-connected societies share similar elements, this explanation has been contradicted. Another answer to this question, which has kept its relevancy to some degree, is psychoanalytical one. It shows that these symbols are in fact based on human psychology and mostly a part of human subconscious. Let's consider the idea of saving your mom. Amleth has lived to believe that he has to save his mom. The fantasy of saving your mom is a universal fantasy. Other universal themes and symbols in the Northman can be understood in the same way. There is a third and more modern explanation that uses a combination of evolutionary psychology and cognitive science. It is said that these universal themes and symbols are related with humans' evolution in nature. Simply put, since myths are considered to be an expression of collective subconscious, anything that is important to human survival has more chance to become a symbol in mythical stories. Besides mythical theme of movie, other prevalent theme is clearly revenge. The most dominant theme in the movie for the most of its duration seems to be revenge. But as we move further in the story and approach the inevitable final act, the director cleverly and step by step shows the absurdity of revenge. The fighting scene in Gates of Hell, rather than being the climax of the movie regarding the protagonist reaching his goal, is showing the absurdity of revenge before his eyes. Revenge is destructive. This is the greatest lesson we learn from the movie. The importance of this lesson is more obvious in the contemporary world, where ethnical and racial conflicts are fueled flames of revenge all around the globe. The movie shows us that any excitement that comes from revenge and all the glory that we might assign to it are nothing but a kerfuffle. I hope you have enjoyed yet another review. If you have made it this far, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Until next week, have a good day.